What's going on, everybody? In this video, I want to address a comment that I had on my last video, and basically kind of just like go over, what does it mean to surrender to the Lord, and especially right now, like what does that look like for me? This is going to be kind of opinion based, just because it's like going off of things that I'm currently going through and all that. And I think today actually we have a great example, and I'll get into that. And then also, like, what is the definition of that? Like, truly, what does that mean? Not just opinion based, but like what is true for, basically everybody. And so going into this, here we go. This is my fourth time recording this video. Each time, the first time I think was all right, and then the others just didn't feel quite right. And then I think it was all just, waiting for the right moment for this to come together. Today, like I said, I think there's a great example of this, and I want to get into that as well. So my definition of like surrendering your will to the Lord is basically, taking your own wants, taking your own things that you have planned, I guess, or like your own, goals, all that. And basically just saying, Lord, I lift these up to you. What do you want with my life? Like, how can I best serve you? And wherever you need me, please help me get there and follow the right steps, all that. Like, to me, that's ultimately like what surrendering your will is. And examples of that, and once again, today there's a good example. So I'll give you one that isn't today. This is just kind of like something that I've had in the past and kind of I'm getting better at finally. My YouTube is something that I truly care about. I've been doing it for 10 years now, and then I would say more so the last 2 years of like actual consistency and like actually trying to be better at the YouTube stuff. And so with that, like when I was journaling, I'd be like, all right, 5 months from now, I want this many subscribers. I want this many views. And then 10 months down the road, I want to be here and I want to be blah, blah, blah. I was trying to set up my own will. I was trying to set up my own dates and all that. And ultimately that kind of led to some stress, some anxiety, things like that, because I was not hitting those marks. Because I mean, it was a slow, gradual process, and it just was not going at my pace, because humans, and especially me, I feel like I'm impatient. Like, I want things now. And so that was tough. So ultimately I started switching that mindset of just being like, okay, I'm not going to set dates. Like, I'm just going to control, like, what's in my control right now. I started being like, okay, I can focus on the quality. I can focus on the editing. I can focus on the video idea itself, the thumbnail, description, SEO, all that. Like, I can do the best I can with that, and then ultimately it's out in the world, and it's kind of up to the Lord or the viewers, or ultimately like God to, if it takes off, great, and if not, I did the best that I could with what I had. So that's kind of the approach that I'm learning, and I've kind of been forced to learn. And so like with that, you're just taking that stress of like, here's a deadline, and you're just being like, it is what it is. What's in my control? How can I do that? So that helped me a lot, especially with the YouTube, because I would definitely stress about it. I'm like, no, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. I want to be here, all that. So there's that. And then recently, like, had a pretty rough week last week, just like with my job and everything. But once I finally was like, okay, Lord, I give this to you, so be it. Like, I'm going to make the most of the day. And I ended up having a day that, honestly, it was 3 days. 2 days were horrible, but I also my mindset wasn't right. I was being a negative Nancy for sure. And then the third day I was like, okay, I give this to you. I'm going to make the most of today. So if I get these leads, they end up being bad, so be it. I'm going to just, try to make the most of today. And so I did that. And honestly, I ended up having a great day. I had no leads that ended up working out, unfortunately, for my job. So I'm a roof inspector, basically. And so none of the roofs ended up panning out. I actually ended up waiting like 3 or 4 hours as well, between like noon and 6 o'clock, because I had an appointment at 6. So I had like a huge gap to wait, basically, and kind of do nothing. And so I ended up going out and doing a hike, and I got some footage of that. I did a video, because that's kind of what this channel is originally about. It's not so much these testimonials, but I ended up doing a hike. It was really great. I met this great guy at the top, and we were just like shooting the breeze. And it was just really great. So, I made the most of that situation, I feel like. And like, it was all because ultimately I was like, here you go. I'm going to make the most of today, God. What's in my control, I'm going to try and be good about. So that ended up panning out. And then today has been sort of a challenge, actually. Every time this happens mentally, it takes a toll on me, and it's tough and I don't want it to, but it's really hard for it not to. So I'm not super happy with my job. I'm looking for other jobs. I'm still like applying. And I had a really good feeling about this job that is basically a fitness center shift coordinator. And you guys probably don't know this, but when I was 19 years old, I ended up managing 2 Fitness 307 locations. I mean, I know how a gym works. I know how the membership works. I know how to learn the software. I ended up working my way up to manager. And I was like, there's no way I don't get at least an interview. Like, I'm a shoe-in, all that. And so, the other part of the job is kind of like administrative tasks and things like that. I was like, well, shoot, my last job was at a nonprofit where I was a client service and operations specialist, which is like administrative tasks. Like I was basically like a glorified secretary of just like helping out wherever needed, doing calls, emails, website stuff, all that. So I was like, there's no way. And then today, I've been waiting for 2 weeks, and then today I got an email that said, appreciate you taking the time to fill out this application, and unfortunately we're not going to be going with you in the future. It was a little bit nicer than that, but I know that this is just another closed door. I know that God's just shutting a door that wasn't meant to be there. The other thing with this job is truly it wouldn't have paid much at all. Like, it was less than I was making in Wyoming, and Colorado taxes are way higher than Wyoming. So ultimately it would have been way less than what I was making in Wyoming. So truly it was just, I think the Lord is protecting me right now. I think that, and this is just another way of me trying to surrender what I had planned and what I had kind of envisioned for my future, giving it to Him and being like, okay, use me how you need to. Apparently that job was not where He needs me to be right now. So that's just an example. And then the last thing I kind of want to touch on right now is I did a Clifton Strengths test at my last job. They were really like good about like looking at your strengths and seeing where you can be optimized and maximized and all that. So my number one strength is futuristic. And that's kind of a blessing and a curse, because that's kind of why these goals that I had set are, there, because I'm definitely more of a visionary. I'm a big picture kind of guy. I have goals of like what I want to do, when I want to have, where I want to be, things like that. And it's really hard because I try really hard, I feel like, to get to that, but ultimately I feel like it's because I'm pushing my own will versus the Lord's will, and I'm trying to do it myself without relying on Him. And so ultimately, what I'm learning throughout this whole journey right now is God is in control. I have to take a step back, understand that there is a point to all this, understand that He is working behind the scenes. I know He's not being stagnant right now. I know that there's stuff getting in place. Sorry, I'm not crying right now. I have a cold, so I'm a little bit stuffy right now and congested. So anyways, that is basically like hopefully the brief rundown of like what it means to surrender, which is basically like not taking your own control of your life, but letting the Lord guide you. So that's where I'm at currently. And I mean, if you guys think I'm wrong, I do apologize. I'm not trying to steer anybody in the wrong direction. I feel like for me, that is what has reigned true for me up until now. And so I hope maybe this provides some encouragement, maybe some guidance, maybe some help. I don't know. During this journey, I've definitely had to rely and trust and all that, and have a lot of patience, which once again, I am not the best with patience. The next videos, we do have some hype videos coming out, and I hope you're excited for that, because we still have like the moving stuff from when we came to Colorado, and then we even have like a couple like topic specific videos. But if you have any more topic specific, Christian or not, please let me know. I really appreciate your time, your patience, and coming along with me on literally this journey. And yeah, so catch you in the next adventure. Thank you, Dream Team. If you're new here, welcome to the Dream Team. And if you wouldn't mind, it would greatly help. Please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. It would really mean a lot to me. And yeah, so thank you all. I will catch you in the next awesome adventure. Here we go.